6 months had passed since the sky burned. Earth looked like a different planet now. The blue oceans were gray with ash. The green forests were black stumps. Most cities were empty holes in the ground, but humans were still alive. So Young Choi had been a peace negotiator before the attack. She used to solve problems with words and handshakes. Now she lived in tunnels under the Australian desert, and her hands held weapons instead of peace. Treaties. Report, she said to the man who crawled into her underground command center. The Valdari left 3 ships in orbit, said Jinho Park. He was covered in dust and looked tired. They think we're all dead. Their patrols are getting lazy. So Young nodded. The Valdari had made their first mistake. They thought humans were finished. Most of the alien fleet had moved on to destroy other worlds. Only a few ships stayed behind to watch the corpse of Earth. In the deep tunnels, human survivors worked day and night. They built new weapons. They planned attacks. They remembered their dead. Dr. Woo Jin Nam had been Earth's best terraforming engineer. He used to make dead planets into homes for people. Now he worked with Dr. Do-yeon Kim to turn alien technology into weapons. Look at this, Do-yeon said. She pointed at pieces of a crashed Valdari ship. The metal was not really metal. It was alive. It grew and changed and healed itself. Woo Jin touched the strange material. It felt warm. Their ships are not built. They're grown, like animals, which means they can be killed like animals, Do-yeon said. The 2 scientists worked for weeks. They learned how Valdari technology worked. The aliens used living computers. Their weapons were trained creatures. Their ships were giant beasts that could fly through space. We can use this, Woo Jin said. We can make their own technology fight against them. The breakthrough came when they found an intact Valdari data core. It was like a brain made of crystal and flesh. Do-yeon connected human computers to the alien device. What they found made them sick. The crystal brain held memories. Thousands of years of memories. Videos of worlds burning. Pictures of extinct species. The sounds of civilizations dying. The Valdari had kept it all like a photo album. They enjoy this, Do-yeon whispered. She watched a video of beautiful bird-like creatures being hunted to extinction. They don't kill because they have to. They kill because they want to. Woo Jin saw something else in the data. Maps, star charts, the locations of other survivor species hiding in distant parts of the galaxy. The Valdari knew about them but had not killed them yet. We're not alone, he said. Others survived. Others are hiding. But the most important discovery was in the deepest files, records that even the Valdari tried to forget. Stories of a species that had fought back so hard that the Valdari never spoke their name. A species that had scared the monsters. Former military strategist Jae-hoon Seo studied the files for days. He had been a defense planner before the attack. Now he was planning something much bigger than defense. The Valdari are afraid, he told the other survivors. They've been afraid for a long time. There was a species that didn't just fight back. They hunted. They chased the Valdari across the galaxy until the aliens had to hide. What happened to them? So Young asked. The records are damaged. But I think they won. The Valdari destroyed them, but it cost the aliens everything. Whole fleets, entire worlds. The Valdari had to rebuild their empire from almost nothing. Jae-hoon spread out his plans on the table. We're going to do the same thing. But we're going to do it better. The plan was called the Protocol. It was not about saving Earth. Earth was already dead. It was not about defending the survivors. It was about revenge. Complete, total, absolute revenge. We're going to kill every Valdari in the galaxy, Jae-hoon said. Every single one. And then we're going to make sure they can never come back. Some of the survivors thought the plan was too extreme. We're not killers, said Dr. Yoon-soo Lee. We're better than them. So Young looked at pictures of her dead family. Her husband and children had died in the Seoul attack. No, she said. We were better than them. Now we're something else. The first test came 3 months later. The Valdari had built a harvesting station in the ruins of Tokyo. They were collecting DNA samples from dead humans and plants and animals. Adding Earth species to their collection, Captain Hyejin Kwan volunteered to lead the attack. She had been a cargo ship pilot before the war. Her ship had been destroyed while trying to evacuate civilians from Mars Colony. She was the only survivor. This is a one-way mission, Jae-hoon told her. You won't be coming back. Good, Hyejin said. I don't want to come back. I want to hurt them. The attack ship was built from salvaged Valdari technology. It looked like a metal insect with too many teeth. Human engineers had filled it with explosives and bioweapons. He-Jin flew the ship straight at the harvesting station. The Valdari were not expecting an attack from humans. They thought all the dangerous humans were dead. The ship crashed into the station's central core. Explosions tore through the alien structure. But the real weapon was the biovirus that Wu-Jin and Do-Yan had created. The virus was made from Valdari DNA. It attacked their nervous systems. It made them feel fear and pain like they had never felt before. The virus spread through the station in minutes. Valdari soldiers who had killed millions of humans suddenly understood what terror felt like. They screamed and ran and begged for mercy. But there was no mercy. The virus was designed to kill slowly. Before she died, Hyojin activated the station's communication system. She broadcast the attack across all Valdari frequencies. She wanted every alien in the galaxy to see what humans could do. "This is Captain Hyojin Kwan of Earth," she said into the camera. Behind her, Valdari soldiers were dying in agony. "You destroyed our world. You killed our families. You thought we were finished." The camera showed the burning station, showed the alien bodies, showed what human revenge looked like. "You were wrong," Hyojin said. "We're still here, and we're coming for you. All of you." The transmission ended when the station exploded. Across Valdari space, alien commanders watched the recording. For the first time in thousands of years, the Valdari felt something they had almost forgotten. Fear. Back on Earth, the survivors celebrated their first victory. But it was not really a celebration. It was more like a funeral. They had killed their enemies, but they had also killed something inside themselves. "We're not the same species anymore," Dr. Min-Ho Lee said. He had changed the most. The gentle scientist was gone completely. Now he studied ways to make aliens suffer. "Good," So Young said. "The old humans were too weak, too kind. The Valdari killed them all." She looked at the plans for the next attack, and the attack after that, and all the attacks that would come after. The protocol was just beginning. "The new humans will be stronger," she said. "Strong enough to make the galaxy safe. Strong enough to make sure this never happens again." Outside the bunker, Earth's poisoned sky began to rain. The water was full of ash and chemicals. Nothing would grow in that rain. Nothing good anyway. But in the tunnels below, something new was growing. Something that had never existed before. Humanity's children would be born into a world of ash and revenge. They would grow up knowing only hatred for the aliens who had killed their planet. They would be raised to be hunters. The Valdari had wanted to add humanity to their collection of extinct species. Instead, they had created their own extinction. Commander Hyunwoo Park floated in the control room of the space station New Seoul. He watched the stars through the big window. Everything looked normal. Earth spun slowly below them, blue and green and beautiful. The morning shift had just started and coffee smelled good in the air. Hyunwoo had been watching space for 10 years. Nothing exciting ever happened. Ships came and went. Messages arrived from the 12 human colonies. People lived their lives. Humans were good at making friends with other species. They traded goods and shared knowledge. War was something from old history books. "Sir, I'm getting something weird on the scanners," said Lieutenant Bo-Ram Han. She was young and smart, fresh from the academy. Her fingers moved fast on the control panel. Hyunwoo pushed himself over to her station. The scanner showed empty space. Then it showed something big. Then empty space again. "Maybe the scanner is broken," he said. Bo-Ram shook her head. "I checked it 3 times. Something is out there. Something really big." The space around Earth suddenly filled with light. Massive ships appeared from nowhere. They were not like human ships. These ships looked alive. They had curves like bones and surfaces that moved like skin. They were huge. The biggest one was the size of a city. Hyunwoo had never seen anything like them. His hands shook as he reached for the communication panel. "This is New Seoul Station to unknown vessels. Please identify yourselves." The answer came fast. A voice that sounded like breaking glass filled the room. "We are the Valdari Empire. Your species will be harvested. Resistance is useless." On Earth, alarms started ringing in every city. President Ji-Hai Song was in a meeting when her assistant ran in. "Madam President, you need to see this now." The wall screen showed the alien ships. There were hundreds of them. They moved into position around Earth like hunters surrounding prey. Ji-Hai had been president for 3 years. She had dealt with many problems, but nothing like this. "Get me Admiral Tae-Ho Kim," she said. "Get me, everyone." Far away on the colony world of New Busan, engineer Tai Min Kim was checking the morning harvest reports. New Busan was humanity's food world. Green fields stretched to the horizon. The air smelled like growing plants and fresh soil. His communication device beeped. A message from Earth, a warning about alien ships. Taemin laughed. Must be some kind of drill, he told his assistant. Then the sky caught fire. A Valdari ship appeared above New Busan. It was smaller than the ones at Earth, but still huge. Weapons that looked like living tentacles reached down from the ship. They touched the planet's surface and began to drill. Taemin felt the ground shake under his feet. The drilling got deeper, faster. The planet's core was being attacked. "This is Tai Min Kim on New Busan," he said into his communicator. "We are under attack. The planet is breaking apart." The ground cracked. Hot light poured out. The beautiful green field started to burn. Taemin ran for the evacuation ships, but he knew it was too late. "Tell everyone," he said into his communicator. "Tell them we tried to stop this. Tell them we—" The transmission ended. Back on Earth, the attack began. The Valdari ships did not try to land. They did not try to capture anything. They just wanted to destroy. Beams of energy hit every major city. The beams were hot enough to melt steel and stone. London burned first. The Thames River boiled. Big Ben melted like a candle. People ran through the streets, but there was nowhere to hide. The Valdari weapons found everything. Tokyo was next. The lights went out. Buildings fell like toys. Mount Fuji cracked open and began to bleed fire. In New York, people looked up at the sky and saw death coming down. The Valdari ships hung over the city like storm clouds made of bone and metal. Times Square filled with light, then filled with fire, then filled with nothing. Dr. Min-Ho Lee was in the Beijing Research Institute when the attack hit his city. He studied alien life forms. He had always believed that life was precious. Every species had something to teach humanity. The building shook. Glass broke. Alarms screamed. Min-Ho ran to his computer and started downloading everything. If he was going to die, at least the research would survive. That was when he found the files. Hidden data from a captured alien probe, pictures of dead worlds, lists of extinct species. The Valdari had done this before, many times, hundreds of worlds, millions of species. Min-Ho stared at the screen. These aliens were not conquerors. They were collectors. They killed entire species and kept samples of their DNA like trophies. Earth was just another prize for their collection. The roof collapsed. Min-Ho grabbed the data storage device and ran. The hallways filled with smoke and fire. Other scientists ran beside him. Some fell. Some kept running. Outside, Beijing was dying. The Valdari had been thorough. Nothing would survive. Space around Earth became a graveyard. Human ships tried to fight, but they were not built for war. They were exploration vessels and cargo haulers. The Valdari weapons cut through them like paper. Admiral Tae-Ho Kim commanded the defense fleet from his flagship. He was a good officer, but he had never fought a real war. "All ships form defensive positions," he ordered. The human ships tried to protect Earth. They fired their weak weapons at the giant alien vessels. Some shots hit. The Valdari ships kept coming. "Sir, we're losing everything," reported Captain Sujin Park. "They're too strong. Too many." Tae-Ho watched his fleet die. Ships exploded in bright flashes. Good people died in the cold of space. "Keep fighting," he said. "Make them pay for every inch," but there was no way to win. The Valdari had fought this battle 1,000 times before. They knew exactly how to kill a world. By the end of the first day, most of humanity was dead. The 12 colonies were gone. Earth's cities were burning ruins. The lucky people died quickly. The unlucky ones hid in basements and tunnels waiting for the air to become poison. President Ji-Hai Song was in a bunker deep under the mountains. She was alive, but her world was gone. Reports came in from around the planet. The same story everywhere: death, fire, the end of everything humans had built. "How many survivors?" she asked. "Maybe 1 billion, said General Dongwu Choi. "Maybe less. The Valdari are still hunting." Ji-Hai looked at the screens. Earth looked sick. Brown and red where it used to be blue and green. "What do they want from us?" "Nothing," said Dr. Min-Ho Lee. He had made it to the bunker with his stolen data. "They don't want anything. They just want us dead. All of us." He showed them the files. The pictures of dead worlds. The lists of extinct species. "We're not the first. We won't be the last unless—" "Unless what?" Ji-Hai asked. Min-Ho's eyes were hard and cold. The gentle scientist was gone. Something else had taken his place. Unless we become something they've never seen before. Something that fights back. Something that hunts them. Outside the bunker, the Valdari ships began to leave. Their work on Earth was almost finished. They had other worlds to kill. Other species to collect. But deep underground, in hidden places around the world, humans were still alive. They were hurt and angry and afraid. But they were thinking, planning, learning. The Valdari had made a mistake. They had left some humans alive. Soon they would regret that mistake. 2 years after Earth burned, the galaxy was learning a new kind of fear. The humans were no longer hiding in holes. They were hunting. Captain Dong-hyun Park commanded the warship Death's Promise as it moved through the darkness between stars. The ship was nothing like the peaceful vessels humans used to build. This ship was designed for one purpose: killing Valdari. "Target located," said Lieutenant Kyung-Soo Han from his weapons station. "Valdari convoy, 3 ships carrying harvested genetic material." Dong-hyun smiled. It was not a nice smile. "Perfect. Let's introduce them to human hospitality." The human ships were faster than anything the Valdari had ever faced. They used alien technology improved with human engineering, biometal hulls that could heal themselves, weapons that learned from each battle, computer systems that thought like living creatures. Death's Promise struck like lightning. The Valdari ships never had time to call for help. Human weapons tore through their hulls. Their precious cargo of stolen DNA burned in space. "Any survivors?" Dong-hyun asked. "A few," reported his second officer. "Good. Upload the virus and let them go." The surviving Valdari would carry a special gift back to their fleet, a bioweapon that would spread through their ships like a plague. But this plague did not just kill. It made them remember. Dr. Soo-min Lee had created the memory virus in her laboratory beneath the ruins of Seoul. She was no longer called Doctor. Now everyone called her the Ghost of Titan, after her first successful experiment on a Valdari research station. The virus forced Valdari brains to experience every death they had caused, every species they had destroyed, every world they had burned, all at once, for days. Most Valdari went insane within hours. The lucky ones died quickly. The unlucky ones lived long enough to understand what they had done to the galaxy. "How does it feel?" Soo-min whispered as she watched test subjects writhe in their cages. "How does it feel to know real terror?" Meanwhile, on the hidden base called New Earth, Dr. Yu Jin-oh was making contact with other survivor species. The Valdari had not been completely successful in their genocide campaigns. Small groups had escaped and hidden in distant parts of the galaxy. "This is Dr. Yu Jin-oh of the Human Resistance," she said into the quantum communicator. "We know you're out there. We know you're hiding, but you don't have to hide anymore." The first response came from the Keth, a species of peaceful traders who had lost 90% of their population to Valdari attacks. "Humans? We thought your species was extinct." "We got better," Eugene said. "And we want to help you get better too. Help us kill every last Valdari, and we'll give you the weapons to do it." The second species to respond was the Nomari, who had been fleeing Valdari hunters for 50 years. Then came the Vex, who had been forced to eat their own dead to survive in hiding. Then others. Dozens of species. All with the same story. All with the same hatred. Eugene formed the Vengeance Coalition. It was not an alliance for peace or trade. It was a group of survivors united by one goal: the complete extermination of the Valdari Empire. "We're not here to rebuild," she told the first coalition meeting. "We're not here to forgive. We're here to make sure the Valdari never hurt anyone again. Ever." The coalition's first joint operation was the sterilization of the Valdari mining world Keth 7. The planet was defended by a massive fleet and had millions of Valdari workers. Admiral Yoon Soo Kim led the human fleet. She had been a peace negotiator before the war, just like So Young Choi. Now she was something much more dangerous. "All ships begin the cleansing," she ordered. Human ships attacked from one side. Keth ships attacked from another. Nomari vessels struck from above. The Valdari fleet was outnumbered and surrounded. But the real weapon was not the ships. It was what the humans had learned from studying Valdari biology. Every Valdari was connected to their world through biological networks. If you could poison the network, you could poison them all. Soo-min's latest creation was called the Planet Killer. It was a virus that attacked the biological connections between Valdari and their world. Once released, it would spread through every living thing on the planet. The virus worked perfectly. Within hours, every Valdari on Keth 7 was dead. The planet itself began to die, turning brown and black as the biological networks collapsed. Broadcast this to every Valdari fleet, Yunsu commanded. Show them what happens when you mess with humans and their friends. The recording showed the planet dying, showed millions of Valdari corpses floating in their biopools, showed human ships dancing victory patterns over the dead world. Across Valdari space, alien commanders received the message. Many refused to believe it. The humans were supposed to be extinct. The other species were supposed to be hiding, but the evidence was right there on their screens. A dead world, a destroyed fleet, and at the end of the recording, a human face. "This is Admiral Yoon-Soo Kim of the Human Vengeance Fleet," the human said. "We are no longer prey. We are predators, and you are our food." The Valdari Empire began to panic. Emergency meetings were called. Ancient weapons were activated. Defense fleets were recalled from distant galaxies, but it was too late. The humans had learned too much. They knew where every Valdari world was located. They knew how Valdari technology worked. They knew the aliens' weaknesses. More importantly, the humans had become something the Valdari had never faced before. The aliens were used to fighting desperate defense actions. They were used to hunting frightened prey. They were not used to fighting an enemy that enjoyed killing them. Commander Chan Woo-Yoon led the final assault on the Valdari home system. His flagship was called Earth's Wrath, and it was built from the bones of 1,000 destroyed Valdari ships. "Today we finish what they started," he announced to the combined human and coalition fleets. "Today we make them extinct." The Valdari homeworld was called Nest Prime. It was a bioplanet covered in living cities and breeding pools. Billions of Valdari lived there. It was the heart of their empire. Chan Wu destroyed it in 6 hours. The human fleet did not just attack the cities. They poisoned the oceans. They burned the atmosphere. They cracked the planet's core and let the molten rock spill out like blood. Every Valdari ship that tried to escape was hunted down and destroyed. Every escape pod was targeted and eliminated. No survivors, no mercy, no exceptions. As Nest Prime died, Chan Wu broadcast the destruction across the galaxy. He wanted everyone to see what happened to species that tried to exterminate humanity. "This is Commander Chan Woo-Yoon of Earth's Wrath," he said as the planet burned behind him. "The Valdari Empire is finished. Their homeworld is dead. Their fleets are destroyed. Their species is extinct." He paused, watching the fire spread across the planet's surface. "But this is only the beginning," he continued. "Any species that helped the Valdari will face the same fate. Any species that stood by while worlds burned will answer for their cowardice. The galaxy belongs to Earth now." The transmission ended. Across known space, alien civilizations received the message. They saw the dead planet. They saw the human ships dancing in the flames. For the first time in galactic history, an entire species had been completely wiped out by another species. Not conquered, not enslaved, exterminated. And the humans were not done. In the deep space between dead Valdari worlds, human ships continued their hunt. Suman's scanners could detect Valdari DNA from light years away. Every hidden base was found. Every refugee was eliminated. Every trace of the alien species was burned away. The galaxy's other species watched in terror. If humans could do this to the mighty Valdari Empire, what could they do to anyone else? The answer would come soon enough. On Earth's poisoned surface, children who had been born after the burning played games with toy spaceships. But their games were not about exploration or peace. They played war games, extermination games, hunting games. "I'm a human captain," one child said. "You're an alien. That means you have to die." "Why do all aliens have to die?" another child asked. "Because they might hurt us," the first child explained, "and we can't let anyone hurt us ever again." The new generation of humanity was growing up. They would be stronger than their parents, harder, more willing to do whatever was necessary to keep humanity safe, and they would have the entire galaxy to practice on. 10 years after Earth burned, humanity ruled the galaxy with absolute power. The human hegemony controlled every star system, every planet, every species. There was no rebellion. There was no resistance. There was only order. Fleet Admiral Inho Park stood in the command center of New Geneva Station, built from the fused remains of 10,000 destroyed Valdari ships. He was the grandson of Commander Hyun-Woo Park, who had died during the first Valdari attack. The old commander had been a peaceful man. The new admiral was something very different. "Report on the tributary worlds," Inho commanded. "All quotas are being met," replied his aide, Captain Dongmin Kim. The Zenthri delivered 12% above their required tribute. The Kelthani finished the new shipyard construction ahead of schedule. The Makari workers are performing well in the mining colonies. Inho nodded. The galaxy was functioning perfectly under human management. Every alien species knew their place. Every world contributed to human strength. Every system operated under human law. Dr. Yana Kim managed the remembrance protocols from her laboratory deep inside New Geneva Station. Her job was simple but important. Make sure no trace of Valdari genetics survived anywhere in the galaxy. The new scanners detected Valdari DNA traces on Kelthani World K7, she reported during the weekly briefing. Very old genetic material, probably from crossbreeding centuries ago. "Eliminate it," Inho ordered without hesitation. "Sir, that would mean sterilizing the entire population of K7. Over 2 billion Kelthani. Then sterilize them. The Valdari contamination cannot be allowed to spread." Yona had been performing these eliminations for 5 years. She no longer felt anything when she pressed the buttons that ended civilizations. It was just work. Important work. Work that kept humanity safe. The bioweapons deployed on K7 were elegant and efficient. They targeted only the contaminated genetic lines. Within a week, half the planet's population was dead. The survivors were relocated to other worlds for further genetic screening. "Clean," Yana reported. "K7 is ready for human colonization." Colony Administrator Kyungmin Lee managed the tributary worlds from his office on New Geneva Station. His job was to make sure the alien species remained useful but not dangerous. The Fenris Collective is requesting permission to maintain their traditional mating ceremonies, he told Inho during their monthly meeting. Denied. Traditional ceremonies create cultural unity. Cultural unity leads to resistance. They can mate, but only under human supervision. The Makari are asking for more food rations for their children. Denied. Hungry children work harder when they grow up. The Zenthri want to teach their old language in their schools. Absolutely denied. All education will be conducted in human languages only. Kyungmin sent out the orders. Across the galaxy, alien species received their instructions. Follow human rules. Speak human languages. Live human-approved lives. Most aliens obeyed without question. They had learned what happened to species that disobeyed humans. But some still remembered what freedom felt like. In hidden places across the galaxy, small groups of aliens met in secret. They whispered about the old days. They told their children stories about their homeworlds. Before human occupation, one of these groups was led by a young Zenthri named Kel 9. His grandfather had been an ambassador before the human conquest. His father had died in the labor colonies. Kel 9 had grown up under human rule, but he remembered the stories. "We can't fight them," he told his fellow conspirators. "They're too strong, too ruthless." "Then what do we do?" asked Vel 3, a young Makari whose family had been executed for hiding food from human tax collectors. "We survive," Kel 9 said. "We remember." "We wait. Wait for what?" "For them to make the same mistake the Valdari made. For them to become so confident that they forget to watch for threats." But Kel 9 was wrong. Humans never forgot to watch for threats. Dr. Dayun Seo worked in the intelligence division, monitoring alien communications across the galaxy. Her computers scanned every message, every conversation, every whisper. The artificial intelligence systems she had built could detect sedition in a casual comment about the weather. "Resistance cell detected on Zenthri Prime," she reported to Inho. 15 members. They're planning to preserve their cultural records in hidden archives. "Eliminate them," Inho ordered, "and destroy the archives." The resistance cell was crushed within hours. The cultural records were burned. The families of the conspirators were sent to re-education camps to learn proper human values. But Daun was troubled by something she had found in the intelligence reports. A few humans were beginning to question the hegemony's methods. Not many, not openly, but enough to worry her. Dr. Junho Kim was one of them. He worked in the Cultural Preservation Department, documenting alien civilizations before they were fully absorbed into human society. It was supposed to be academic work, historical record-keeping, but Junho had begun to see patterns. Every alien culture went through the same process. First, their military was destroyed, Then their government was replaced. Then their culture was slowly erased. Finally, their species became just another type of human worker. "We're not preserving cultures," he wrote in his secret journal. "We're documenting their extinction." Junho had made contact with Kel 9's resistance group, not to help them fight. He knew that was impossible, but to bear witness, to remember what the galaxy had been like before humans controlled everything. "Your people aren't evil," Kel 9 told him during one of their secret meetings. "They're hurt, deeply hurt, but hurt people sometimes hurt everyone around them." "I know," Junho replied, "but I don't know how to stop it. Most humans think this is justice. They think we're making the galaxy safe." "Are you?" Junho looked at the data on his tablet. Crime rates were at historic lows. There were no wars, no conflicts, no chaos. The galaxy was more peaceful than it had ever been. "Yes," he admitted, "we are making it safe, but we're also making it dead." The breakthrough that changed everything came from Dr. Sujin Oh's archaeological team. They had been exploring ancient ruins in the galaxy's outer rim, studying civilizations that had existed millions of years before the Valdari. "We found something," Sujin reported to the hegemony leadership. "Records of a species called the Eternal Judges. They ruled the galaxy for over 1,000,000 years. How did they maintain control for so long?" Inho asked. "The same way we do. They conquered everyone else for their own protection. They eliminated threats. They maintained order." "What happened to them?" Sujin hesitated. "They became too successful. They controlled everything for so long that their species stopped evolving. Stopped adapting. When a real threat finally appeared, they couldn't handle it." "What kind of threat?" "The records are unclear. Something from outside the galaxy. Something they had never encountered before. Their empire collapsed in less than a century." Inho studied the ancient records. The Eternal Judges had followed the same path as humanity. A terrible attack on their homeworld. A decision to make the galaxy safe by controlling everything. Millions of years of absolute power and then extinction. "Could the same thing happen to us?" he asked. "Not if we're careful," Sujin replied. "Not if we learn from their mistakes." But the more Sujin studied the ancient records, the more worried she became. The Eternal Judges had believed they were different. They had thought they were special. They had been sure their control would last forever, just like humans believed now. The first signs of change came from the intergalactic exploration program. Human ships had been exploring distant galaxies for 3 years, looking for new worlds to colonize and new threats to eliminate. "We found something," reported Captain Min Jun. "Oh, from the exploration ship, Destiny's Edge. A galaxy showing signs of recent warfare. Massive destruction. Entire solar system sterilized." "Valdari?" Inho asked. "No, sir. The destruction patterns are different. More systematic, more complete. The exploration teams found evidence of a galactic war that had ended just 50 years ago. An entire galaxy had been stripped of life. Every planet was dead. Every star system was empty. But there were no records of who had done the destroying. No debris from enemy ships. No trace of the killers, sir," Captain Min Jun reported during his next transmission. "We think something is coming. The destruction patterns suggest the killers are moving from galaxy to galaxy. And according to our calculations, our galaxy is next." Inho felt something he had not experienced in years. Fear. The human response was immediate and massive. Every shipyard in the galaxy began producing warships. Every species was ordered to contribute to the defense effort. Every world became a fortress. But as the preparations continued, some humans began to ask difficult questions. Are we any different from the Valdari? Junho asked Daon during one of their rare private conversations. We've conquered the galaxy. We've enslaved entire species. We've committed genocide. We had no choice, Daon replied. We had to make the galaxy safe. Safe for who? Us or everyone? Daon did not answer. The answer came when the alien resistance groups began sending secret messages to the approaching threat. Kel 9 and his fellow conspirators had been monitoring human communications. They knew about the coming invasion. This is our chance, Kel 9 told his followers. When the humans are fighting the invaders, we can break free. 5 years after Earth burned, the galaxy had learned to fear a new name. Human. General Jiwoo Park stood on the bridge of the massive space station New Earth, watching reports flow in from across known space. Every day brought news of more alien worlds surrendering. More species begging for mercy. More civilizations offering tribute. The Zenthri Republic is requesting another meeting, reported his aide, Lieutenant Minjun Kim. They're offering to increase their tribute by 30%. Jiwoo did not look away from the star charts. Each red dot marked a world under human control. Each blue dot marked a world that would soon be under human control. Tell them the tribute stays the same, but now they have to provide workers for the new fleet construction. The Valdari Empire was completely dead. Every world sterilized. Every ship destroyed. Every living Valdari hunted down and eliminated. But humanity had discovered something during the genocide campaign. Killing the Valdari had felt good. Really good. Dr. Hai Wansong worked in the bioweapons laboratory on New Earth. She had been a teacher before the war, showing children how to read and write. Now she created viruses that could track alien DNA across vast distances. The new Hunter-Seeker virus is ready for testing, she told Jiwoo during their weekly meeting. It can follow Valdari genetic traces even in mixed bloodlines or ancient DNA samples. Good, Jiwoo said. Deploy it to all sectors. I want every trace of Valdari genetics eliminated from the galaxy. Sir, that might include some aliens who only have small amounts of Valdari DNA from ancient crossbreeding. Every trace, Jiwoo repeated. No exceptions. The galaxy's other species were learning that human justice was absolute. The peaceful Makari had traded with the Valdari centuries ago. Human investigators found records of the trade agreements. Within a week, every Makari world was under human occupation. We didn't know they were genocidal, pleaded Makari Ambassador Kel 9 during the surrender ceremony. We just traded food and medicine. You enabled them, replied Human Foreign Minister Mi-kyung Lee. You helped them stay strong enough to destroy Earth. That makes you guilty. The Makari homeworld became a human mining colony. The Makari became workers. Their culture was declared illegal. Their language was banned. Their children were raised to speak human languages and follow human rules. Other species watched and learned. When humans came to investigate the peaceful Fenris collective, the aliens immediately surrendered everything. Their worlds, their fleets, their freedom. Smart choice, said Admiral Shung Ho Kim as he accepted the Fenris surrender. Your species gets to live. As servants but alive, the humans were efficient conquerors. They did not want to rule alien worlds directly. They wanted tribute, resources, workers, obedience. Most importantly, they wanted acknowledgement that humans were the galaxy's dominant species. Every alien had to bow when humans entered a room. Every alien had to step aside when humans walked past. Every alien child had to learn human history in school, and every alien had to memorize the lesson of Earth. Tell me what happened to Earth, Mi-kyung said to a group of young Zenthri students during an inspection visit. The Valdari destroyed it, the students recited together. They killed billions of humans. They thought humans were weak. And what happened to the Valdari? Humans made them extinct. Humans killed every single Valdari in the galaxy. Humans are strong. What is the lesson? Never hurt humans. Never threaten humans. Always obey humans, Mi-kyung smiled. Good. Remember that lesson. Your lives depend on it. But some humans were not satisfied with just controlling the galaxy. Dr. Jun Seo led the expedition that discovered the Valdari's secret archives on a hidden world called Dark Memory. The archives contained records of every species the Valdari had exterminated. Thousands of civilizations, millions of worlds, trillions of dead beings. Each extinction was documented with videos and genetic samples. Look at this, Jun Seo said to his research team. He showed them a video of a species called the Bright Singers. They had been beautiful creatures made of living light. The Valdari had hunted them for sport. And this, he continued, showing another video. The Star Weavers had been able to create art from cosmic radiation. The Valdari had destroyed them because their art was too beautiful. Jun Seo spent months studying the archives. Each record made him angrier. Each video filled him with more hatred for the dead Valdari, but also with something else. Guilt. We should have made them suffer more, he told his assistant, Dr. Hae-jin Lee. We killed them too quickly. They deserved to suffer for every species they destroyed. The archives became a memorial. Every extinct species was given a crystal monument on New Earth. Humans came to visit the memorials and learn about the civilizations that the Valdari had murdered. But The memorials also became justification for something else. Human expansion. These worlds belong to the dead, declared President Incio Park during a public speech. The Valdari stole them, destroyed them. We are taking them back in the name of every extinct species. Human colony ships began spreading to every world the Valdari had once controlled. Worlds that had been empty for centuries suddenly had human cities, human farms, human military bases. The dead planets were brought back to life, but only for humans. Alien species that had once lived in those regions found themselves displaced. These worlds were ours originally, protested the Kelthani ambassador. Wrong, replied human colonial administrator Eugene Park. These worlds belong to the Three-Horn people. The Valdari exterminated the Three-Horn people 400 years ago. We are taking custody of their worlds to honor their memory. But our people have lived here for generations. Your people can relocate. We'll provide transport ships. You have 30 days. The Kelthani relocated. Everyone relocated when humans asked them to. The alternative was extinction. Some species tried to resist. The warrior culture of the Harix tribes thought they could fight human expansion. They were proud hunters who had never bowed to anyone. The human response was swift and absolute. Every Harix world was sterilized within a week. Every Harix ship was destroyed. Every Harix warrior was eliminated. We gave them a choice, Admiral Kyung-Min Lee explained to the Galactic News Networks. They chose death. We honored their choice. The War Crimes Tribunal that the surviving species tried to organize was shut down before it could meet. War crimes? Laughed human legal administrator Dayun Seo. We're not at war. We're maintaining galactic peace. She gestured to a map showing human-controlled space. It was most of the galaxy now. Look around. No more wars. No more genocide. No more species destroying each other. Perfect peace. Because you've enslaved everyone, whispered Zenthri representative Kel 4. Because we've established order, Dayun corrected. The galaxy is finally safe. Safe from another Valdari. Safe from chaos. Safe from the mistakes that led to Earth's burning. But even some humans were beginning to question what their species had become. Dr. Junho Kim worked in the archives, documenting alien cultures before they disappeared under human rule. We're destroying civilizations, he told his secret contact in the Zenthri resistance. Not just conquering them, erasing them. Your people were hurt, the Zenthri replied. Pain makes people do terrible things. This isn't pain anymore, Junho said. This is something else. Something worse, he was right. Humanity had evolved beyond revenge. They had become something the galaxy had never seen before, a species that believed their own survival justified anything. Any action, any atrocity, any level of control. Archaeological teams led by Dr. Su Jin-Oh made a disturbing discovery on an ancient world at the galaxy's edge. Ruins that were millions of years old. Cities built by a species that had once ruled the galaxy. They called themselves the Eternal Judges, Su Jin reported to the human leadership. According to these records, they believed their species was chosen to maintain galactic order. They conquered everyone else for their own good. What happened to them? Jiwoo asked. They became too successful. They controlled everything for so long that they forgot how to adapt. When their empire finally fell, it fell completely. Their species went extinct. Interesting, Jiwoo said. Make sure our expansion planners study those records. We don't want to make the same mistakes. But as Sujin read deeper into the ancient files, she found something that made her hands shake. The Eternal Judges had started their conquest the same way humanity had. A terrible attack on their homeworld. A genocide that filled them with rage. A decision to make the galaxy safe by controlling everything in it. History repeats, she whispered to herself. Over and over and over. The galaxy was learning to live under human rule. Children grew up speaking human languages. Adults worked in human factories. Artists created art that humans approved of. And in the deepest space laboratories, human scientists worked on new projects. Weapons that could destroy stars. Viruses that could rewrite alien DNA. Ships that could travel to other galaxies. The local galaxy is almost secure, reported Dr. Haiwan Song during the monthly military briefing. But we've detected signals from distant galaxies. Other civilizations. Potential threats. Then we know what we have to do, Jiwoo said. Secure them too. The first intergalactic exploration ships were already under construction. Massive vessels designed to carry human settlers and alien workers to distant galaxies.